Our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. And I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that it revives such claims and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying, it says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance.
Diddy has 120 people filing cases against him for sexual misconduct, but that isn't even the worst part. The worst part is that the youngest of these accusers is just 9 years old.
So I'm sure everybody has seen the guy. He's saying, we're going to name names. He's saying we have 120 different defendants. We've gone through 3,000. We've really vetted these people and we're investigating, and they're making claims against Diddy, very serious allegations. And what he's doing is he's telling everybody who knows anything or who even might know anything to pay up. So basically, he's calling for settlement. He's calling for settlement. And my hope is that if they don't end up settling out of court and they end up criminally prosecuting people who were involved in these illegal activities, I do not want to see them settle out of court. And I hope they don't go, oh, don't name me. Here's 20 million or whatever. And then that attorney is going to get his contingency fee, and then the people are going to get paid off. And then are we going to find out who it is? Who did it? We want to know.
This is the same man that would beat women up and make them fear for their lives, too.
Kim knew why he was using the butt plugs. Man, Kim probably told all that in her book. You understand? That up and got missing the day she died.
Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, is finally setting the record straight on rumors that Diddy killed his ex-girlfriend, Kim Porter, to stop her from revealing his dark secrets. Kim was reportedly writing a tell-all book before she died, and according to Gene, she was planning to dish all the dirt on Diddy. But that's not all. Gene also revealed that Kim was terrified of Diddy because he emotionally and physically harmed her throughout their relationship. Fans are now saying Kim Porter's case needs to be reopened because the official story of how she died makes no sense at all.
Kim wasn't taking it from her. Allegedly, Kim was fine the day before and the day of her death. And then now she found in the bed dead from pneumonia. That just don't sound right, bro. That don't sound right at all.
So you feel the same way about her death being suspect?
I don't think nobody in America think it's nothing suspicious about Kim's death, bro. If you are rich like that, you could, Kim had, I think a net worth of like, what, 12 million a year or something like that. Kim could have called any doctor to come over and look at her. If she was that bad, she could have called an ambulance or something like that. Everything is suspicious about her death, bro. And I don't think an autopsy was done on her. And if it was a half-assed job.
You personally, right? What do you think happened to Kim Porter?
If I say something personal, bro, and my belief, and I put it on to the public, then I might be liable. You understand what I'm saying? I might could be liable for what I say. So I just can't say that, I don't really want to say what I really believe, brother. Because, what I really believe is that they might got into a little spat, a little fight, something went down, and Puff did that play fighting stuff that he always do, and that pillow fighting stuff, and probably smothered her. But I wouldn't say that on the air. I wouldn't let people know that he probably smothered her to death, and because she had a bad cold or she felt some kind of way that she died doing them having that play fight with the pillow fights and everything and smothered her. But I'm not going to say nothing like that on the program because I don't want to get myself in trouble. As far as saying that with him and say, oh, he said this and he said that. Nah, I'm just being facetious. I'm just being sarcastic that if, in those type of realms and those type of things, because I'm never going to say that he probably smothered her to death. I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
The same man who would beat women and make them fear for their lives.
Disturbing new video appears to support some of the accusations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
We want to warn you that this video you're about to see is extremely graphic. The surveillance footage that was captured inside of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 allegedly shows Combs assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway. A now settled lawsuit filed by Ventura claimed that she was trying to leave the hotel after a drunken Combs punched her. The video appears to show Combs chasing her down the hall, throwing her to the ground, and then repeatedly kicking her. So far, there's been no comment from Combs or his attorney.
You know what, man? When Kim Porter mysteriously died, the one man who could tell us the truth was also suddenly made to disappear. Now, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Brittany Murphy was took out by Diddy. I have seen this going all around TikTok, and we are about to deep dive this and all the crazy information that I found that might just connect her passing to Diddy. It was reported that Brittany Murphy passed away due to pneumonia, the same way as Kim Porter, even though her father did his own toxicology report on Brittany Murphy after her autopsy, and he said that he found toxic metals in her body.
Today, new shocking allegations coming from her father, who says she was poisoned. And Murphy's father, Angelo Bertolotti, and family friend Julia Davis are joining us now from Los Angeles. To the both of you, thank you so much. I know this is difficult. I'm sorry for your loss. We appreciate you being with us because this is really shocking to a lot of people, hearing that you believe that she was poisoned. Mr. Bertolotti, why do you believe that? Why do you think that she was poisoned?
Well, it's very suspicious, and I read the reports on the toxicology reports, and everything sounds very, very, very more or less suspicious. And I feel she was poisoned. There's no question about that. And I feel she was murdered.
Julia, was there something specific in those reports that he's talking about that leads you to believe that it was poison and not natural causes? Yes, from the very beginning, AJ always believed that there was something very odd about Brittany's passing, and then reviewing autopsy reports, we could see that there were multiple symptoms that would usually go with poisoning, and then the test results confirmed that, where the lab found 10 heavy metals in very high quantities. So we do believe that it was poisoning, and we would like to have it properly investigated, since the coroner never tested for poisons originally.
Now, the crazy thing is that Kim Porter and Brittany Murphy's coroner was the same person named Ed Winters, who actually passed away before Kim Porter's second autopsy report was finished. Ed Winters worked on people like Paul Walker, Tom Petty, Brittany Murphy, and Michael Jackson. And then I found out even something more crazy. So do you guys remember Harley Pasternak, who actually passed away before Kim Porter's second autopsy report was finished? Ed Winters worked on people like Paul Walker, Tom Petty, Brittany Murphy, and Michael Jackson. And then I found out even something more crazy. So do you guys remember Harley Pasternak, the trainer that was CIA that Kanye talked about trying to off him and other celebrities like Aaron Carter?
Harley Pasternak followed me to the fucking hotel. The nigga killed Aaron Carter, and now they acting like they won't clear the Backstreet Boys sample. You get what I'm saying? Harley Pasternak, Pusha, your trainer. Harley Pasternak, Jay-Z.
Harley Pasternak worked with Brittany Murphy before she passed away. Harley Pasternak claimed that Brittany Murphy's husband hired him to work with Brittany, but when she came into his gym, he was sure that she was under the influence of something. Yeah, right. And what makes everything even worse is the fact that Brittany Murphy dated Ashton Kutcher around the same time that he was best friends with Diddy. And it's been alleged for years that before Brittany Murphy passed away, she was getting ready to expose SA that was happening in Hollywood. And we know even though Ashton Kutcher was friends with Diddy, he worked at an organization for these SA child and women victims. That was up until 2023, until Ashton Kutcher decided to resign from Thorne because he sent a letter in support of Danny Masterson, basically discrediting all of his victims and saying how much of a great guy he was. So a man for years that sat on a board trying to help women and children, that was also friends with another, and also friends with someone like Diddy, was dating Brittany Murphy, and she was allegedly getting ready to expose the industry in some things that she knew. And Harley Pasternak just so happened to be around her right before she passed away. Nah. All of this shit is absolutely crazy, but if you guys want to keep following me, head on over to my YouTube. I am going to put my name right here. I am now starting on YouTube, and you guys can follow this journey along with me even more than here on TikTok. But you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
What I mean is, he even denied ever touching Cassie until surveillance footage came out and exposed him. Now, what else is this sack of crap hiding?
Is that it's just a piling on. Pretty much people knew for decades what we're going to start finding out things that people have speculated on for decades, and they're just going to pile on, because at the end of the day, how's he going to defend himself at this point? He's got a ton of money, he's got a ton of attorneys, but even if you have unlimited money and unlimited resources, if you are sued, by 100 different people, 100 different times, 100 different theories, at the end of the day, you as a professional defendant operating from a jail cell, you cannot overcome that. You just can't do it. And people know that they can pile on. People who probably wanted to go after this guy just feared going after him because they feared the retribution. They feared that, they walk into an attorney's office, hey, I have this theory against Diddy. And the attorney would tell them, okay, do you have $1 million to pay me for me to waste my time, waste your money and go after him? No, I don't. Can you do it on contingency? No, I won't do it on contingency, because if I do it on contingency, he's going to spend millions of dollars to crush us, right? So that's exactly why these theories have been rebuffed. Right now, people now have, any attorney will jump up and say, yeah, I'll represent you. I'll sue Diddy. I'll be on the headlines. I'll sue Diddy for you tomorrow, right? Yeah, I'll do it on contingency. At the end of the day, that's what's happening. You're going to see many, many more instances of people coming up with theories against Diddy. With respect to this specific one, as a kid growing up, I loved Tupac, and there was, when we were in high school and Tupac died, everybody said, hey, Diddy did it, right? And it was kind of like, back then it was Puff Daddy, right? So a lot of people say that. I don't know if the quality of this type of theory is. But, hey, I'm going to be interested. I'm going to be glued to the TV to see what happened, the connection between Diddy and Keefe D. Let's see. But at the end of the day, that's what's happening. It's a piling on.
Yeah, I mean, back in July, I think there was a report that Sean Diddy Combs had said, any kind of connection here, this theory is absolutely ridiculous, absolutely false. So we'll have to see what comes of this. But I believe we have some sound we can play, Michael, and then we're going to get your reaction to it on the other side.
So it's Pharrell, you, Puffy, Zip, and a bunch of Southsiders. And what Puffy makes kind of an announcement?
Yeah, that was stupid as hell too,
Your perspective is so important. What a great resume you have. Thank you for being here tonight, Cheryl. You know this case so well, so we wanted to get your reaction to this story now that we're digging back into it.
As soon as I heard the news today, first thing I thought about, Laura, is they're looking at the wrong case. This whole thing to me started in 1994. The first time Tupac is shot is in New York City, a recording studio. That's where he was targeted. So to me, I would start there.
Did your investigation include Sean Combs back then when you were working with Tupac's mom?
Yes, and the reason it did is the very night that I'm talking about. In 1994, at that recording studio, Sean Puffy Combs was there. And, if you look at what occurred, Tupac gets into an elevator and is shot 5 times, which they are calling a robbery. Well, you and I both know you ain't got to shoot somebody 5 times to take their jewelry and their money.
Right.
He is literally a fish in a barrel. And when they start shooting at him, Sean Puffy Combs and his entourage of 40 unharmed, unthreatened. How does that make sense to anybody? One person is going to be robbed and not the other 40. Who would have had more money and jewelry? 40.
Right.
But that's not what happened.
I mean, it's incredible, all this detail that people are talking about again now. How far did you get with your investigation? Because I know that you walked the crime scenes. What is the significance of the 2 crime scenes for you? Because you have this incredible perspective.
Well, I've walked crime scenes with you. You know the importance. You and I have worked together. You cannot substitute going. These 2 scenes to me, biggest thing that sticks out is both times that Tupac Shakur is shot, he is trapped in something. He's trapped in an elevator and then he's trapped in a car. There is literally nowhere to run. First time he's shot, it's 5 times. The next time it's 4. Both of those scenes, he's with people that he knows. He's surrounded by people that he knows. Both scenes, though, ironically, don't have video footage. So, to me, this signifies somebody close to him knows his whereabouts on that day, that time, and that location. That, to me, shrinks your suspect pool pretty good. Only a handful of people would have known where he was on both of those days at that time.
That's really interesting. When we go back to that shooting in 1994, what do you think is the most important evidence from that shooting?
When I went to Vegas, I met with Frank Collada, a mafia hitman. And Frank told me, he said, if you're sitting at a table, you don't know who the mark is, you're the mark. So to me, we don't have to look any more than Tupac's own words. He said when he got to the studio that night in 1994, Sean Combs and his entourage would not look at him. He knew that was not right. It gave him that feeling that something is up. Well, when you won't look somebody in the eye because you know what maybe is coming down, that tells you right there. Later, Tupac himself said Diddy was the mastermind of that 1994 shooting.
Wow. Wow, wow. Why do you think this is happening right now? Why are we hearing more? Is it because Diddy's back in the news and these allegations are out there and now he's in jail or a detention center being held? Do you think that's why this is all happening now? Now people feel safe to come out?
They feel safe. When he was denied bond the second time, Look what happened with the women. We went from 11 victims to over 120. And I believe that number is going to quadruple. So now the family of Tupac feels safe. Bodyguard is not going to come after them. Another staff member or another person connected to him is not going to come after them. Everybody connected to Sean Puffy Combs right now is under a microscope. So the family is safe to come out and have these, both of these cases, in my opinion, looked at.
What are you going to be looking for next in this story? This just broke today. Just real quick in closing, what are you looking for next?
The connection of Keefe D, Orlando Anderson, and Sean Puffy Combs.
All right, we'll see what happens. I got to tell you, Cheryl McCollum, you were the very first person I thought of when this news broke today, because you and I have talked at CrimeCon and other places about your involvement in this case and following it and knowing the details. I'm so glad that you were here with us tonight. Cheryl McCollum, thank you so very much. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Laura.
When Kim Porter mysteriously died, the one man who could tell us the truth was also suddenly made to disappear. Now I'm starting to see a pattern.